When it comes to using AI, it's often misunderstood exactly what it is. And I think probably the easiest way to discuss what it is to say what it's not. It's not like the traditional software we're used to, meaning, hey, we open it up and we have a certain set of tasks that it will run, and that's all it does. It goes way beyond that. It actually will do whatever we want it to do, and it's only limited by our imagination. Hi, my name is Jeff Harris. I'm with a company called Swing Point Media, and today I just wanted to jump in here at the near end of July and share a couple of things that are going on with AI that's happening, I'm going to say, kind of in the trenches. I own a company called Swing Point Media. We've been doing digital marketing and now AI automation and consulting for about the last 15 years. Now, not that whole time when we were doing AI, we probably got into AI and automation heavily in the last 3 years. And then as technology has continued to evolve, we have added new steps. One of the things I notice is the limitations that we sometimes will put on a certain tool, in this case, artificial intelligence. Now, I don't want to isolate and say, or generalize and say, oh, this is only ChatGPT or this is Claude, this is Perplexity. I'm just going to say AI in general as we think about it. You know, ChatGPT is the one that is probably the best known. It sprung onto the market at ChatGPT when it happened, and had over 100 million people sign up right away to start using it. We've been using it as a commercial basis for, like I said, probably since day one. As soon as we were given access to it, and then upgraded to the pro level, we have been using it nonstop. We use it for a lot of things. We use it for anything from this is kind of one of my favorite things. This is to do deep research into our customer's customer. And what that allows us to do is to go way beyond the gender and the age and the demographics that we normally think about a customer, and really dive into things, psychographics. What's the things that are important to that person? We can also simultaneously with that same question, we can dive into things like, what do the reviews say? What are the fears? What are the concerns? What is the journey that the average customer for this particular business, what kind of things do they need to know? And what kind of questions will they ask before they can make a buying decision? It's really a game changer, because that particular step I just described is usually one that takes several people, and it might take a couple of weeks, and it's very expensive. And let's be honest, most small businesses that work in your community cannot afford it. We as a company, we would like to offer it, but it was something that was out of reach for most people. Well, since we've been using this, it's allowed us to be so much better. It's almost like going from, if you think about it, in the days of even, not long ago, when we turn on TV and it's just a little fuzzy, And then all of a sudden it went from HD and it's like, wow, that's really good. Then it went to 4K and we're like, oh my gosh, it's like we're looking at life as it is in real life, not on a screen. Well, that's kind of what's happened. It has continued to evolve, and it just gives us a better insight into the customer. So what does that mean? It means we can do things like better messaging. We understand the actual language that customer's customer will use when they're searching for something. And let's face it, one of the key things that we've found over the last 15 years when we talk about behavior, making a decision, is rapport building. And when you speak the language of your ideal customer, you tend to stand out in the noise that's out there in the marketplace. I give you an example. Yesterday, I was out filming a new client that's come aboard, and I wanted to remind them as they were answering questions like Q&As. I said, do me a favor, let's see if we can speak to the people without the corporate jargon. And I don't mean that in a negative sense, because it's easy. I mean, if I'm around other people, we're doing AI and whatnot, I'll probably speak a different language than I would when I'm on this recording. I want to speak in a way that you understand what I'm talking about, not something that is complicated, because here's what happens. When you speak in jargon, and I'm getting a little off track, but I want to circle this back around. When you speak in jargon, what that happens to do to our brain is all of a sudden it's like, what did they say? What does that mean? And all of a sudden I've lost them. And so we want to speak in the language that works for you. So this is why a lot of times if you meet me in person or you watch my videos, I use a lot of simple language. I joke and say, hey, I'm just a kid from West Texas, and we keep things real simple there. But that is really true. I try to take the complicated and make it easy. Now, back to AI. There's almost nothing today that I don't try to run it through one of the AI models. Why? Because I'm going to find out it kind of knows everything. It's already reached those levels where it already gets scores on all the tests about how smart are these things. It already gets higher scores than any human on the planet. I read that. I heard that last week from Peter Diamandis, where they were talking about this. It's already scoring scores that they're way beyond a PhD level. In fact, they were reading part of this test, and it was on the math test, and they were reading questions, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Just the question, I had no idea what this meant. And ChatGPT, in this case, 4.5, scored a 100. So it's pretty cool. My point with today is it's not like software. Software, again, we think of it as it has a very specific task. And so when we open it up, it does that specific task. The cool thing about this is a lot of times I'll start a conversation, and let's just say I'm starting a conversation and I'm going to write some emails for a client. And I'll start writing the emails, and then by the time I'm done with the emails, it has a lot of understanding of exactly what I'm looking for. And I'll say, hey, while we're at it, let's create a 45-second script that I can then turn into a video to help promote whatever we're talking about selling, both online and within the emails. And in no time at all, I have this fantastic script written that I can then put in AI, another platform, if you will, and it will turn that script into a finished video. Now, there's a guy named Dan Martell, and I like Dan. I've just recently started watching him. I saw him again on a podcast that I love watching called The Department with Omar Takori. And Dan says, hey, AI should be doing about 92% of your work. Now, Omar, because I was asking the same thing, was like, Dan, how do you come up with 92%? The bottom line is it can do all of the heavy lifting, and we just go in as humans and we tweak a little bit. And I think that's even going to be a time where in not too distant future, we're probably not tweaking it at all. Going back to these emails and the script, when I look through that, I'm like, I wouldn't change a thing. It did a great job. Part of that is how much information are we giving the AI before we get it going? Now, moving from business to personal, I'll give you an idea. My wife has started using Copilot, and she's already named it. I think she calls it Sage. And she starts asking it questions around what she's interested in. She is really a foodie, and also she's very health conscious. And she's asking specific questions about this and designing like food recipes as well as menus for her week. And it's made her life so much easier. It's doing most of the heavy lifting. It's not an app on your phone that, hey, I'm only opening it up for food. It's not an app on my phone that I'm only opening up for X and Y. It's one app, and now we're just having a conversation with whatever we want to discuss. Now, what I do want to point out is, and this is my opinion, this is what I found. If I'm going to start another conversation about another client, or if I'm going to have a conversation about another client, or have a question about something with another client, I'm going to start a fresh conversation. I'm not going to mix it in with what I was just talking about. Let's use this example. The emails and the script. That's a client. But I'm going to come over here to another conversation, and I'm going to talk to it about doing deep research on a new customer that we just picked up, and we want to go deep into, all the information that we need, including their competitors and what kind of videos we should make, what kind of ads we should run, all that kind of stuff. That way, it's keeping it separate. Now, you can, and we do, you can create what we call projects. And these are like folders. And for the longest time, in the beginning, that wasn't possible. It was just all your chats on there, and you had to go back and go through them. I kind of still have a few of those because I've done so many for so long, but I'm starting to now segment them and put them into projects. I'm bouncing around a bit, but the big thing here I wanted to share with you is we need to treat it like it's somebody we know who has all the freaking answers. They're so smart. Like I have a friend of mine, his name is Marty, and Marty, I always joke with him. I said he's the smartest guy I know. If I want to know anything, it doesn't matter, from plumbing to electricity to, how to get the best rates on a car, whatever it is, I reach out to Marty. Well, ChatGPT in this case, or AI, he's my Marty. I just go to one person, and it's so cool because I don't have to search all over the place. I think there's amazing things coming down the pike for us when it comes to artificial intelligence. And keep in mind, I'm only talking about one I'm going to call it platform, or one resource. And you can make it do whatever you want, legally, obviously, and within reason, and legally and morally. So I encourage you to try this. And I'd love for you to put in chat, hey, which AI do you use? Is it Chat, GPT? Is it Perplexity? Is it Grok? Who is it? And I'm curious as to why you choose that. I heard today that Claude, I think it was Claude 3.5. I'd have to double check exactly what it is, but it's Claude. And they said they use it when it comes to writing and scripting because it has more human nuances to it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to check it out. But they also said when ChatGPT 5.0 comes out, they said they'll have to give that a run because that's supposed to be the game changer of all game changers. Although every day seems to be a new game changer. So today, I just wanted to share that with you, my thoughts on the fact that, hey, it's not like software. Software is usually a standalone item like, hey, QuickBooks, or it's a DocuSign or something of that nature. No. We can ask it anything. And the other thing, if you haven't done this yet, I'd encourage you to hit the voice portion and have a conversation with it. And you could almost have that running in the background and have conversations with it. And in the next video, I want to talk to you about AI agents. Now, that's something that ChatGPT is going to give all of us. And now imagine, and we've already been building these before this release, but imagine you had an AI agent that took care of all of your emails. And you have an AI agent that takes care of all your Facebook. And you have one that takes care of all your Instagram, or they take care of your social media. And that's all they're supposed to do. They're trained to be the very best. They're the Einstein of that particular area. That is being released and it's rolled out. I think it was released last week, and it's going to be rolled out. So we've got some fun times ahead of us. And like I said, please put in the chat, which one do you use and how do you use it? I'd love to find out. Thanks again for joining me. Again, my name is Jeff Harrison. I own a company called SwingPoint Media. We are an AI automation and consulting company. And what we basically do is we help companies understand. We kind of go in and we say, okay, let's look over your shoulder. Let's find out what you're doing and how much of this can be automated. And what we find is we can automate a tremendous amount of this, but it doesn't mean we're firing or getting rid of people. We're actually teaching them to work together. And now what happens is instead of having instead of that person being let go, it can do the work of 2 or 3 people, but it can do it in 1/3 the time because they have AI helping them do that. So a lot of times that's what we'll do is we'll go into a company and say, this is what we can build, but also this is how you use it. So if you find yourself in a situation that said, hey, I want to get on this AI train, And it's a bullet train, by the way. It's not something that's going 40 miles an hour. It's going like 240 miles an hour. But if you want to get on board, but you're not sure where, give us a shout. You can call us. We can do an online assessment. My number is 760-413-3508, or you can just go to Swing Point Media and you can send me a message that comes to my inbox at jeff@Swingpoint Media. I'd love to help you. Till next time, be safe, and we'll see you on the other side of AI.